All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is 3:30. Welcome to my live auction show. My name is Chris, and of course, this is my channel, We Love Comics. And before we start showing the comics, which by the way, if you saw the video I did just the other night, you'll know all of the comics that I am putting up for auction. But I want to make sure, even if you're not watching this live, what happens in every live auction I've ever done, there'll always be some comics that were not bid on, so they could still even be for sale even after the auction is over. And sometimes people make bids and they win, and for whatever reason they can't, maybe they just had something happen or they just didn't have the finances or whatever, and they end up not paying for a item that they won. So even if you're not watching this live, I highly recommend contacting me at peacefulfeelings@yahoo.com afterwards and inquire about them, because you never know. So as you could see on the screen, these are some of the ways that you can make your payments. So I accept Cash App, which is the $barnum 11970. We have Venmo you can use, and that's at We Love Comics. And also PayPal, which is peacefulfeelings@yahoo.com, which is also my business email, so you could message me there anytime. Now, there's two other ways you could also do it. You could mail me a money order, not a check, because a check is going to take 2 weeks to clear, so you're going to have to wait. I mean, if somebody wants to do that, you know, that's fine, but it would have to be a certified check. But if you send a money order, or if you want to meet me in person, because I've had people meet me in person. If you live near the Tampa area in Florida, we will meet in a public place, so you don't have to worry and I don't have to worry. And you could pay cash. But the benefit of the benefit for you guys of sending a money order or paying the cash is I'll give you 10% off of your total order, no matter how many things you bid on and win. If you use Cash App or Venmo, I will add an additional free comic to your total. Now, I'm also right now going to show you the shipping costs, if you want to write that down. So also keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, if you are thinking about bidding, make sure, if you look where you're typing to enter the live chat, you'll see on the top left hand corner of that section, it'll either show top chat or live chat. There'll be a little downward arrow next to either one of those. Make sure it's on live chat, because if you have it set on top chat, what will happen is there'll be a delay and I might not see your bid right away. So also, if you are thinking about bidding, let's say it's for, which isn't one of the items, well, let's say Hulk #1 and you want to bid $5. If you want to bid, first type in Hulk #1 and then the amount that you want to bid, so this way I know exactly what you're bidding on, because like I said, sometimes there's delays and people forget or don't know about setting the setting to live chat. So as you could see, we don't have to worry about the shipping costs for raw comics, because these are all graded comics. But if you live in the Continental 48 United States, it will be $19.99 to ship it, up to 3 particular items. So if you win 3 comics, you only have to pay $19.99 for shipping. Anything after that, if you win 4 or more, it's $2.50 extra per slab comic. So this way you can adjust with the payments when it comes to the shipping. If you live in Canada, Hawaii, or Alaska, again, we don't have to worry about the raw comics. Graded comics up to 3 comics is $39.99. After that, if you win multiple, it's $3.50 extra per slabbed comic. If there's any extra in the shipping, I will pay the difference. If you're an international bidder, you can bid. Just keep in mind, depending on where you are, you know, shipping costs can get a little expensive. So if you don't mind paying the shipping costs, you know, it could be $50, $60 depending on where you live, because, you know, that's UPS and FedEx for you. But it's a lot cheaper than you flying here to pick it up. So if you are international, you can always contact me with what the shipping costs are. I'll let you know after the auction is over. If you do win a bid, if you want to make multiple bids on different items, what has to happen is, if you win a bid and I'll put this back on real quick. If you win a bid, you have to make a payment for your item before you can bid on anything else. This basically keeps people from spamming and just making bids on 500 things with no intention to bid. So if you win one of the auctions and you want to continue bidding, you have to make your payment right away before you're allowed to bid once again. And my moderators will check this, and I will, of course, confirm it because I'll have my phone right next to me, which will show any Cash App or Venmo automatically. Same thing with PayPal. I'll get an email, which I have up as well. The bidding, the way it works is any auction that starts between $100 and $499 will do a bid increment of $5. So this way we're not doing 10 cents and it takes 6 hours to do a bid. So between $100 and $499, the bid increments are $5. You can bid higher than that if you want. If you see something you absolutely want, you can bid as high as you want, maybe to keep other people from bidding, but it's $5 increments. If it's over $499, between $499 and $999, it's $10 increments for the bidding. And if it's $1,000 plus, it is $25 to bid higher than the previous bid. Now, we always go, if there are two people that basically almost bid at the same time, the one that did it first will be the one that we honor. So the second person, even if it's a split second later, the person who has that bid up first will be the one in the lead. Now, if you get to a point where you've reached the limit of where you want to pay for something, if you think I cannot bid anymore, if you could please type in fold. This way we know when we get close, because what will happen is if we're down to two bidders, it'll go until one of them says fold. So, excuse me. So one of the things I also recommend, because if you guys know me, if you have bought from me before or seen my live auctions, I always verify by going on eBay, and I don't go on listed sales because you could list anything for any price. I go by the eBay sold sales, and I always have my starting bids lower than what you can get on eBay right now for the same grades. Also keep in mind, eBay charges you taxes on top of the shipping costs and the cost of whatever items you're buying. So you will not have to pay shipping here. So if you buy a $1,000 comic, that's probably at least about an $80 tax that eBay will charge you. So keep that in mind when you're making a bid. But I always tell people, while I'm doing the auction, I encourage people to go on eBay and check for yourself what these items that I'm about to show are not only listing for, but what they have been sold for. And you'll see I always put them at the bottom. Where you guys go with it basically depends on how much you want a item. So sometimes there are bidding wars, but just like I said, make sure you go to eBay and verify so you could see how I run my auctions. Again, make sure you have the setting to live chat. Make sure when you're bidding, you name the comic first and then the bid. I suggest all caps so you can see. So I can see it. And then we go until, I'll give it a few minutes. If no one bids, we'll move on to the next one. Or if there's a bid, we'll wait a few minutes to see if anybody wants to join in. And if there's a bidding war, it goes as long as you guys and girls go. So let's put on the video camera. We're going to get this started. We got 17 people here, so thank you. Even if you are not going to bid, I appreciate you being here watching this auction. 5 people have already hit the like button, so thank you for that. Now, I did the sneak preview, but I will go into further detail. If you want to ask a question about the comic that is currently up for the bid, please write it in all capital letters so I can pay attention to that, because a lot of times I'm going to be focused on the camera and not on the live chat other than people making the bids. So if you have a question, if you're thinking about making a bid and you need to know something about it, write it all in capital letters. If you're doing it just asking general questions, I will have to ignore it, so this way we don't spend 7 hours on an auction. All right, so with that being said, we're going to go with the list that I did the other day. We're starting with the, I guess you can call them the least valuable, going all the way up to the most valuable. But each one is a key book. I don't sell random books. I sell the stuff that a lot of people want to collect. All right, so the first item up for bid, and the bidding will start at $99. So if you want to bid for this, this is Thor, God of Thunder #2. So what you could write is you could just write Thor 2. And then the bid starts at $99. Now, of course, you can go higher than that. I leave it up to you. If it's a book you want and you want to, hit that nail in the coffin and keep other people from wanting to bid, you could start higher, but I will leave it up to you. This is, of course, and I will go over it. This was graded. Now, all of these books, except for one, I graded myself. Well, I didn't grade them myself, but I sent them in to get graded. So they were all raw comics from my personal collection that I sent in to get graded. So except for one comic, which I'll talk about, every one of these was in my personal collection, and I got them graded myself. I didn't buy them already graded on eBay. So this, of course, it has white pages, so it's a 9.8. This is the first appearance of Goro, the God Butcher, and the All Black, which, of course, is the Necro Sword. Now, obviously, the movie Thor: Love and Thunder didn't do as great as it, as it could have, because, these days with movies, but that doesn't stop this from being a character that everybody loved, and that's exactly why they even thought of that character to put in a movie. So keep in mind that just because a movie doesn't do well, or even a movie does well, is not going to dictate whether somebody might want a comic or not. So this is still a key issue, and who knows, maybe they may do a reboot at some point and actually do the character justice, because to not have the character look like the comic book version, I think was not the best way to go, and I'm sure many people would agree. But, like I said, this is a 9.8. It is a first appearance. I always start with lower comics, so this way in case people don't have lots of money to spend. So if you want to start the bidding and try and own this book, better if I showed it on the screen. There we go. I'm used to having my camera over here. But this, as you can see, is a 9.8 with white pages. I will show the back so you can see for yourself. And if you have any questions on it, you are more than welcome to ask. So I'll give it about a minute or two. If nobody bids, keep in mind, if you're watching this later on, if nobody places a bid, you can always contact me at peacefulfeelings@yahoo.com and say, I saw that book. Is it still available for sale? And I will sell it at the starting price. Unless more than one person contacts me, then I'll go with whoever wants to do the highest price. So we'll give it another 30 seconds. If nobody bids on this, we'll move on. But again, this is the first appearance of Goro, the God Butcher, and the All Black, the Necro Sword. The best time to buy comics like this is when it's not on the mainstream. In other words, you don't want to be buying this book right before the movie comes out, because then it will have reached its peak. The best time to buy a book is when the prices have gone down. Because if I would have sold this a month before the movie, people would have probably spent $500, $600, $700, $800 for this book. All right, so we do have our first bidder. So that's why I always tell people, when you're investing in comics, and obviously if you're buying a graded comic, you're pretty much doing it either to hang it up on the wall or to be saying, I'm a proud owner of a book, or you're doing it for investments, because no one's buying a graded book to read it. So the people that are going to be bidding on stuff like this are most likely buying these for investment potential. Well, as they say, buy low, sell high. So the best time to be buying these is not riding the emotional roller coaster that most people do, where they buy it when everybody wants it, because that increases demand and that increases the price. You want it on the decline. So we have one person that has placed the bid, so we'll give it about 30 seconds or so. If you want to be a person that bids on this, it's now, because it's it's up to $99 is a $2 increase. I forgot to mention that because it is $99. So after that, it'll be a $5 increase. So you can go to 101 on this if you want, and then after that, it'll be at $5. But even if there's the only bidder, he's going to get a very good deal on this. Now, if you've never ordered from me before, I ship everything very quickly. Basically, it depends on how quickly you pay. Keep in mind, if you want to make multiple bids on multiple auctions, you have to make a payment on the first one before you can bid again. But keep in mind that, remember, you can get up to 3 comics for the same shipping price. So you don't have to keep adding the shipping. If that happens where you didn't realize that and you include the shipping cost, I'll just reimburse you with that. or if you want another, like a free comic to compensate, I'll leave that up to you to make that decision. All right, so we're going to give it another 30 seconds, otherwise Trade Paper Dad, and I finally learned to pronounce your name properly. I used to say something else all the time. I don't know why. But give it like another 20 seconds. If no one else bids, we have our first winner, and he's dealt with me before. All of the comics will be shipped quickly and well protected. So none of these will ever arrive in a manila envelope. They will be wrapped securely. So if anybody's ever ordered from me before, if you want to put in the live chat your experience, people would love to know if they've never done that before. All right, so this is your last chance if you want to make a bid. Otherwise, we have a proud owner of this comic. Going once. Going twice. And we have our winner. So there we go. So let me put the information. Congratulations, Trade Paper Dad. I'm going to write this down. Once payment's been made, email me at peacefulfeelings.com with all of the books you win, the prices you paid. If there's multiple, put the total, and make sure you let me know the address you want it sent to, because I've had people in the past, they send a payment and they don't tell me where they want it mailed to. And unfortunately, I'm not as psychic as I would like to be, so I would not be able to know where to send it without you letting me know. So don't forget that in the email. And again, the same thing with the PayPal. My email address, peacefulfeelings@yahoo.com. That is also my business address. So he wins it at the starting bid of $99. And that is Trade Paper Dad. So congratulations on that. We have our first winner. I'll put that to the side. And we'll get to the next auction. All right, so congratulations, Trade Paper Dad, on that one. All right, another new quote-unquote modern book. For me, modern is in the past probably 5 years ago. I think that was the newest book I pretty much own as far as key issues are concerned. But this is another key issue. If you are a Star Wars fan, and again, because Disney has an interesting way of doing Star Wars and pretty much every one of their properties these days, it has lowered the value of some of these books, which means it is a buying opportunity, because when you buy key issues, when no one else really is thinking about it, you can pounce and get some good deals. So this, of course, is Darth Vader #3. And by the way, if there are any greatest notes, because that's the one thing, that a deal that I made with PGX is if there's greatest notes, I will read them. But since the first one and this one are 9.8s, there are no greatest notes. But if there are, I will read them. But just in case, if you're not familiar with this comic, this is the first print. It is a 9.8 with white pages. It is the first appearance, the major appearance that we care about. I mean, there's a couple of other appearances, but the major one is Dr. Aphra. So this is absolutely a key comic to get. This is in great condition. I was told it didn't even need to be pressed. So the starting bid on this will only be $199. So again, like I tell people, if you want to verify on eBay, if you hear a price on any of these books and you say, wow, that's expensive, go look on eBay and you will see I list them cheaper than anybody else, and I do not charge tax. So keep that in mind. Even if this was the same price as the lowest available for this comic on eBay, you would still have to pay taxes on it. So you'll still save money with me. Plus, you know I'm a reputable seller, so you're going to get the book. You're going to get it well packaged, because I'm a comic lover too, so I'm going to ship them out the way you would want them to be shipped out. And again, this character has not been in a movie yet, and you know, even the way Disney has been going these days, if they make an announcement, they will still get many people interested in the first appearance. The idea is to get these books when other people are not talking about it. That's the time to get the deals. So if you do not own this book, and again, if no one makes a bid, and you're watching this later on, or you change your mind later, after this has moved on to the next bid for the next item, you can always email me at peacefulfeelings@yahoo.com, and you can get this book later on. Again, it can be for the minimum price of the starting bid, or if multiple people ask me for this, the one that offers the highest amount will get it. So this, of course, again, it is a first print. It is Darth Vader number 3 at a 9.8 with white pages. Let me show you the back as well. Books like this sometimes are hard to get in a 9.8 because you could see, especially on the back, there's a lot of black, which means if there are any breaking creases or folds or fingerprints, they're going to show. So we'll give it about 30 seconds. Make sure, again, if you were thinking about bidding, make sure in the top left-hand section of where you're typing, where it says either top chat or live chat, make sure you have it in live chat. So you will be able to have your whatever you type shown right away so there isn't a delay. Now, there's going to be about a 5 or 6 second delay anyway because that's just how YouTube is with live videos. But we're going to give it another 20 seconds, and if this does not have a bidder, we will move on to the next comic. And again, as you can see, there are no graders notes. Pretty much most of the time when there's a 9.8, you're not going to get any graders notes. And that's with all companies. Laura says, happy Sunday. Happy Sunday to you, which, by the way, this is my 4-year anniversary of moving to Florida. We drove up and got here today, September 17th, 2019. So 4 years to this day. It took us 3 days to get here. All right, so it looks like we might not have bidders on this, so we'll go going once. Darth Vader 3, first print, 9.8. Going twice. And no sale. That's quite all right. One of the things I always tell people about, especially the comics I collect, if something doesn't sell, I'll just continue to hold on to it. And one day, if they have Dr. Aphra in a Star Wars movie or a TV show, you know what's going to happen to the price of that. So, again, if you're watching this later on and you see that no one bid on it and you're interested in that book, you can email me at the email address you see in the PayPal section at peacefulfeelings@yahoo.com. And you can message me. excuse me. And if there's multiple bidders, people that email me, the highest gets it. All right, so let's get to the next one. We'll continue with the Star Wars trend. There's a lot of first appearances in this book, but we're only going to go with the major one that's relevant right now. But there's a lot of others, so there's chances that multiple first appearances could become very important for this book. This is a variant version. I always tell people when it comes to newer books, getting the variants sometimes is the better way to go because they're not rare, but they will be rarer than the regular first print. And sometimes, depending on the artist, may make it more desirable. So I leave that up to you. But this is Kanan, number 1, The Last Padawan. This is the Plucket variant. So this is, as you can see right here, the variant edition. They do mark that it is the Plucket variant. This is, of course, like I say, it's one of all the books except for one I had raw sent in to get graded. This is a 9.8 with white pages. There's a couple of first appearances, but the major one that most people are going to be interested in is Sabine Wren, who is currently in the Ahsoka series. And she was also in The Mandalorian, I believe, as well. I don't watch the shows, so I'm not as familiar with it as I once was. But the starting bid on this one, this is an expensive book, but it's not out of the realm of possibility. One thing I also forgot to mention, anything over $400. If you want to do a payment plan, I will allow a payment plan up to 4 months if you need a payment plan. So if that helps you get one of the more expensive books, it's 4 monthly payments, but the first payment does have to be made today or within 24 hours if you notify me. I do not charge interest. So this is a way that you can actually be able to get something. I will hold on to it. You can ask multiple people in the comment section. I've had many people do the payment plans. I had a person buy a $5,000 book, and they used the 4-month payment. I think I gave them 6 months payment plan on that, but there's no $5,000 book here. I gave them a 6-month payment plan, held on to the book. They made the payments, sent it out the next day, or the next business day. But the starting bid for this book is $525. Keep in mind, this is a variant. Also, like I say, and I'll show you the back, if you think, for example, if you're not familiar with this book and you say, wow, that's expensive, go look on eBay right now. Look at what a 9.8 for the Plunkett version, the variant, sold for, and you'll see I'm selling it the cheapest. And again, you will not have to pay shipping. I'm sorry, not shipping. You will not have to pay taxes. So there will be no additional costs other than the shipping costs. So we'll give it a minute or two for people if you want to take the time to look it up. And if anybody wants to in the chat right now, if you want to go on eBay and post what the lowest of the 9.8 graded versions of this book sold for, I have no problem with that, because I don't just say something and it not be true. Now, I checked the prices of these a couple of days ago. If all of a sudden yesterday somebody sold one for cheaper, I can't, I'm not trying to deceive people. Just at the time I did the video and checked the prices to set up the prices, these were the lowest. But even if it's the same price, again, you're not paying taxes. So the bidding again starts at $525. There are no grader's notes because it didn't need it. It is white pages. It's the Plunkett variant. Kanan, the Last Padawan #1, first appearance of Sabrine Wren. And there's a couple of other characters as well. So we'll give it 30 seconds. If no one bids, we'll move on to the next one. And again, if you're watching this later on, or you're watching it now live and you change your mind and decide you do want to get it, you can always contact me at Peaceful Feelings, ask about the book, and unless more than one person emails me, you can get it for the minimum price. Alright, so last chance on Kanan #1 variant at a 9.8. Going once. Going twice. And no sale, but that's all right. So let me just put this in the chat for a second, and then we'll get to the next one. So if you watch this later on, or you change your mind and you want to contact me about that book or any others, please feel free to contact me. And let's get straight to the next one. They'll just get better as we go. Okay. Next up, we got our only Golden Age book. Now, this doesn't have any first appearances or anything, but that doesn't mean it doesn't have any kind of significance, because this is Blondie Comics issue #1. This came out in 1947. It was graded a 4.5, which this I can't believe especially, but off-white to white pages. So whoever had this book pretty much took care of it. Now, obviously, a lot of times with Golden Age books, back in the days when these came out, people didn't buy them and put them in bags and boards. They read them. So to have any high-grade Golden Age books is fairly rare. But with the white pages, that means that person was very careful with how they stored the book. So this cover, and I'll show the back, of course, and this does have some grader's notes, so I will read them. The starting bid on this is $499. So if you're looking to add a #1 Golden Age book with a known character, now obviously this isn't a superhero character, but remember, a lot of Golden Age books were not just about superheroes. You had romance books, you had thrillers and spy comics, mushy kind of stuff, and things like Donald Duck, Popeye, Woody Woodpecker, things like that, and Blondie. So this is a 4.5, came out in 1947. Again, if you want to look it up on eBay, you're not going to see a lot of these for sale. So this is not a book that's, has millions of copies out there. So of all the video channels I watch, I've never seen anybody show this book before. So the bidding starts at $499. I'll show the back, which actually doesn't have an advertisement. It's just a Blondie cartoon. So I thought that was cool. So a lot of times you'll see on comics, you'll always see an advertisement on the back. The back cover on this one just shows a Blondie comic strip. So I will read the grader's notes on this. And again, if anybody wants to look on eBay and check so they can verify. You could put what the cheapest prices were in the live chat. But we've got a weak spine. That means, like I said, people read them. And that's another benefit of getting comics graded, because now it's encapsulated. So now you don't have to worry. Unless you're slamming the book around, which I don't think people buying them would do, it's going to protect things like a weak spine. So multiple stress lines along the spine, which is to be expected in a lower grade book, especially for a Golden Age book. Cover, edge, and spine wear. Minor edge tear, and a 6-inch corner crease on the back cover. Okay, yes. So there is now it does break color, I believe. Actually, I don't know. It kind of looks indented. So I don't know if another pressing on this book might get that out either further. I think when it comes to something like a weak spine, they're not going to press it like they normally would, like, for example, a newer book, because they're going to be more careful with it. So I don't know if I would ever recommend anybody taking this out and repressing it for something that might not improve it at all. But if you're looking for a Golden Age first #1 issue of a known character, here's your chance. We'll give it about 30 seconds if anybody wants to take the time to look it up. But if you don't have a Golden Age book in your collection, there's definitely something about Golden Age books. First of all, most of the time they are thicker, they are wider, they just have a different feel to them. And I have multiple Golden Age books, and I don't mind not parting with this. Like I said in my other videos, the reason I'm selling these is because I lost one of my DJ jobs, and I want to make sure that I have money to pay for any bills that I have coming up, so I'm not putting any stress on anybody else. So sometimes, you gotta sell stuff if you want to make the money from them. So last chance, if you want to place the bid on this. Again, if you think the price is high, go look at what eBay is charging for books like this, and you'll see mine is the lowest. Okay, so Trade Paper Dad said Thor 2 is paid for. Excellent. So if you want to go back at some of the other stuff you might have missed. Hey, Sequential, good to see you. All right, so last call on this book. This, again, is Blondie Comics #1, 4.5. And Trade Paper, since you made the payment for the first one, if you want to make multiple biddings at this point, you don't have to pay right away if you don't want to, as far as to be able to bid again. Because #1, I've worked with you before, and seeing that you did make the first payment, it make it a lot easier so you don't miss out on any of the auctions. So at this point, since you made the first payment, and thank you for that, you can wait until the end of the auction to make the rest of the payments if there's multiple books you want to get. All right, so last chance on this book, Blondie Comics issue #1, graded a 4.5, off-white to white pages, came out in 1947. The bidding starts at $499. Going once, going twice, and we have no sale on that one. That's quite all right. I love keeping my Golden Age books, so definitely have no problem with keeping that. I'm going to keep that information up really quick. Again, if you are watching this later on, or you change your mind and you decided I want that book, just message me at what you see on the PayPal section. My email address, my business email address is peacefulfeelings@yahoo.com. Say I saw that nobody bid on the Blondie comic. I would like to offer you the $499, and if multiple people message me about a book, I will let each person know, and the one that bids tells me what the highest price they'll go at will be the winner. So let's get on to the next one. This is a key issue for all the Conan fans out there, and the beautiful thing is I have several copies of this book. I think I have 5 or 6 copies, so I don't mind selling one, and that's why I tell people all the time, if you can, get multiple copies of a comic. So this way, if you have to sell a book or you want to use something to trade for something else, if you have multiple copies, you can still own it. So this, of course, is Conan #1. This came out in 1970, so it is a Silver Age book. This is a higher grade book at a 7.0, cream to white pages. This is the first comic book appearance of Conan the Barbarian, which Disney just got the rights back to about, I think, maybe 2 or 3 years ago. I don't know the exact time. But there's some graders notes, so I will go over that. This is a Barry Windsor Smith artwork on the cover, and I believe also inside. Yes. It is the first appearance of Conan and the first appearance of King Kull, but that is a cameo. And let me show the back as well. This is a very clean book. And in my opinion, I've said it before and I'll say it again, of all the covers Barry Windsor Smith ever did, in my opinion, I think this is his most iconic cover that he ever did. I wasn't a huge fan of his work when he was working for Valiant. Now, of course, you know, art is speculative, so, you know, just because I might have not thought it was the best doesn't mean that you agree. So that doesn't matter, what I think. But this is a book definitely worth getting. Conan #1 starts at only $379. So if you're looking for a higher grade Conan first appearance, the bidding starts at only $379. So I will go over the graders notes, and again, I encourage people to look up on eBay and see what Conan the Barbarian #1 at a 7.0 has sold for, and you'll see my prices are cheaper than anybody else's, and you don't have to pay taxes because eBay charges taxes. So let's go over the graders notes. Stains on back cover, multiple stress lines along the spine. And if you've watched my videos, I say all the time, if I have the chance to buy a book and there's going to be damage, I'd rather it be along the spine. Because especially when a book is graded, you're not really going to notice it as much. You'll notice it here. But as you can see, this cover looks pretty darn nice. So it does have multiple stress lines along the spine. Cover and edge wear. Browning of interior cover. So the interior cover might have one point been left out. They might have been reading it, left it open, and it got some sunlight on it. I mean, obviously that's just speculative. But if you're looking for Conan #1, this is a 7.0. And again, this came from my personal collection. Bidding starts at only $379. And I'll show the back. No coupons are cut out. No writing. The back is nice and white. The front, as you could see, has pretty deep color. So it's not faded at all. So this is definitely a book, if you want to hang stuff on your wall, this is one of those. So it's $379 for Conan #1. We'll give it about 30 seconds for people to, if they want to check on eBay or think about it. If you want to place a bid, just write Conan and then the price that you want to start your bidding at. And again, you don't have to do the minimum. If you think somebody might outbid you and you want to go straight for the jugular, you can go as high as you want. So we'll give it another 30 seconds. And I'll keep showing the back. And if anybody has any questions on any of the comics, I'll be more than happy, to the best of my knowledge, to answer them. And thank you, by the way, to the 13 people that have hit the like button. I appreciate that. Out of 26, so 50% ratio. Not bad. If you were in baseball, that's a 500 batting average. All right, last chance on this for the live chat. Conan #1, $379. Going once. Going twice. And no sale. So again, if that's something you want to add to your collection and you're watching this later on, you can contact me at the email address you see where it says PayPal, peacefulfeelings@yahoo.com. One thing you'll notice is the Edge of Spider-Verse #2 and Ultimate Fallout 4 were skipped. That is because somebody messaged me earlier this morning and they sent a payment. So those are no longer for sale. I may do some others in a future thing, and that's why I tell people, you know, make sure you watch all the videos that I do, because if you get the sneak preview, you have the advantage of being able to make an offer for books. And somebody made an offer that I thought was extremely fair for both of those books. So those are no longer available for sale. But let's get to the next one. All right, this is the only one that I already bought graded. It is a CGC book, so people don't have to worry for those that are CGC lovers. So I don't know if this book can benefit from a pressing or has been pressed, because I bought this from eBay already graded. So this one is the only one that's not a major first appearance or anything, but this is a early appearance of the Lizard. This is Spider-Man issue number 45. This is a higher grade. This is CGC, graded an 8.0. It has off-white pages. Now, they just wrote Lizard appearance, but this is the third appearance of the Lizard. Because the weirdest it sounds is the first appearance came out in Amazing Spider-Man number 6, and then he didn't show up again until number 44. So that's a big gap, especially for a character that is, obviously must not have been as popular when he started, but as popular as he is now. That's shocking, because all the major other characters appear in the first couple of comics right after their debut. Like, for example, the first appearance of Vulture in Amazing Spider-Man number 2, his next appearance was in issue 7. So the starting bid on this for Amazing Spider-Man number 45 is only $279. And I'll show the back as well. This does not, of course, have grader's notes. But if you're looking to own some older Spider-Mans to maybe fill in your run, or, you know, this could be the oldest comic that you can own from Spider-Man. I don't assume everybody has Amazing Spider-Man number 1 or AF-15, because I certainly do not have an AF-15. But this is only $279 to start. So you can abbreviate. You don't have to type out Amazing Spider-Man. You could just put ASM 45. And again, look this up and see what a CGC 8.0 for Amazing Spider-Man number 45 is sold for. And you'll see my price is the lowest and without charging taxes. So again, this is the third appearance of the Lizard. It is not mentioned. They just say Lizard appearance. But like I said, his second appearance is issue number 44. And you can verify that just so you can see I am correct in what I'm saying. So we'll give it about 30 seconds or so. So I'm not sure. J Mills 181 says, I do. I'm not sure what that's in reference to, because sometimes there's a delay. But if you want to make a bid on this, the starting bid is $279. And you just write ASM 45 and whatever bid you want. So 20 seconds left. And again, if you're watching this later on, if this does not have a bid, you can always message me. All right, last chance if you want to add this to your collection. Amazing Spider-Man issue number 45. This came out in 1967. So again, like the other book, this is a Silver Age book. Going once. Going twice. And no sale. That's all right. Okay, so I'm sure if people are bidding, they're looking, probably waiting for some of the more key books, which is now we're getting to that area of where some of the bigger keys are. Okay, this one, Fantastic Four number 13. Bidding starts at only $299. This is graded a 3.0 with cream to off-white pages. Major appearance in here. This is the first appearance of the Watcher. It's also the first appearance of the Red Ghost, but I don't foresee him getting his own movie anytime too soon, to be perfectly honest. So this is graded 3.0. This came out in 1963. It's got Jack Kirby art and cover and a Stan Lee story. So the bidding on this starts out at only $299. So if you are wanting to add this to your collection, just put FF13 and then the bid that you want to start it with, and I'll show the back. Now this one does not have grader's notes because I got this book graded before grader's notes on the back of the slabs were a thing. So this was back when I lived in New York. I got this book and I got it graded. So again, if you want to look on eBay and see what this book has sold for, you will see that my prices are the lowest without charging you any taxes. So Fantastic Four number 13, 3.0. Bidding starts at only $299. And you can see the reason why there's a lower grade. There is a rusty staple and there is a little browning, but you know, that's when you're talking about a 3.0, you're going to have some defects. But the good thing is, as you could see, there's no pieces missing. And I'll show you the back again in a second. There's a little bit of staining along here, or foxing as well, so a little bit of dirt. So this book has been loved, but you can see no coupons are written out. There's no writing. And this is a key issue. First appearance of the Watcher. Fantastic Four issue number 13. Bidding starts at only $279. Give it another 20 seconds, and we'll move on to the next one. Okay. All right. Going once. Fantastic Four 13 3.0. Going twice. All right. No sale on that. All right. So let me just move some of these out of the way. And we'll get to the next one. Next up, this is the only one that I have in the collection of books for sale that is a signed book. So this starts at $549. This is Batman number 251. This is signed and verified by Neil Adams. I will show you the signature right there. And you will also see right here, because they do signature verification. This was signed by Neil Adams. It is a cream to white pages. This came out in 1973. This is a classic cover. They even do mention right here, classic cover, and is considered the first modern Joker story. So this is another one of those hang it up on the wall if you put comics on the wall. Just make sure if you hang anything up on the wall, make sure there's no sunlight, because that doesn't do nice things to comics. So we got Batman number 251, 5.0 signed. Bidding starts at only $549. It's a chance for you to get a signed copy of this book. And again, if you look on eBay, and so far no one's posted any to confirm, but if you check on eBay, you'll see mine is cheaper than even unsigned. And again, you're not paying taxes. So if you paid $550 for a book on eBay, you know, you're probably paying a good $25, $30 extra in taxes, not including the shipping. So this is definitely a key issue. If you're interested in placing a bid, bidding starts at $549. I will read the grader's notes while people consider it, because especially, you know, 5.0 is going to have some issues. All right, reader's crease, multiple stress lines along the spine. Again, that's going to happen. That means that somebody read it. A reader's crease is a line here because somebody probably got this in the mail, most likely, and they folded it into the mailbox, or somebody could have just folded it on their own, so that doesn't guarantee that it was a mail order comic. Multiple stress lines along the spine, I did mention. Foxing, moderate cove and edge and spine wear, corner crease on the front cover. So, nice mid-grade copy, signed by Neil Adams, graded at a 5.0, cream to white pages. So we'll give it another 20 seconds for people to consider it. If you want to place a bid, you can just put Batman 251, and you could put the starting bid of $549, or you could put whatever you want. All right. Batman 251 going once. Going twice. All right, no sale. All right. Let's get to the next one. A couple of people inquired about this one, but no one sent any payments, so inquiry is one thing, making a payment for it is another. So this one is available, but this is one a couple of people were asking for. Bidding starts at only $699. This is Tales to Astonish, number 44. This is the first appearance of the Wasp, me just see if there's any other significance. There's a death of Vernon Van Dyne, but I don't know. Obviously, people aren't buying it for that. But this came out in 1963. Creamed off-white pages. It's a 4.0. $699 is the starting bid. Again, I encourage people to look these up. So you could see I'm selling these cheaper than what the lowest sale on eBay has sold for. And remember, when you see that price, that does not include the taxes and shipping. But I will go over the grader's notes. Let's show the back so you could see. Pretty nice copy for a 4.0. Starting bid is $699. So let's read the grader's notes. Jacob, hello, good to see you. Alright, so we got slight oxidation, multiple stress lines along the spine. That's usually a main thing for lower grade books, because that means people read them. Moderate cover, edge, and spine wear. There is some mold water stains, and that's just in this little area. So you see on the bottom here, little area there. Now, I don't see any mold, so I don't understand why they said that, but they could be inside for all I know. But that's another reason that it's good to have this encapsulated, because that will keep anything from getting in there. So there's also several edge tears. So 4.0, first appearance of the Wasp. $699 is the starting bid. Go look up what eBay, the lowest, has been sold for. You'll see much more than I'm starting them out as. And again, I don't charge the tax. All right, so we'll move on to the next one. We'll give it a second, because I always make sure I give people time if they want to look it up on eBay. All right, so going once on Tales to Astonish number 44. Going twice. All right, no sale. Looks like I'm going to be retaining a lot of comics. But again, if you're watching this later on and there is somebody that is interested in that book that watched it after the live show, these books, pretty much all except for one so far, are all available. So you can contact me at, I'll put that on the screen really quick, at peacefulfeelings@yahoo.com and say, hey, is this particular book still available? And if it is, you can go with the minimum unless more than one person messages me. Because I've had that many a time where probably 40% of my sales come after. So even if many things don't sell here, that doesn't mean that they won't sell later. All right, this is another one of those books you hang up on the wall if you're so inclined. Starting bid, only $399. This is Silver Surfer number 4 with the iconic Silver Surfer and Thor on the Rainbow Bridge cover. Absolutely classic cover. This is graded a 4.0. And again, the bidding only starts at $399. Creamed off-white pages. This came out in 1969, so this is a Silver Age book. They do list it as a classic cover, and it is the first Silver Surfer vs. Thor battle. It is a Stan Lee story and John Buscema art and cover. Like I said in the previous video, when I was a kid, I saw this in the regular comic book boxes you'd see in a comic book store. It wasn't even on a wall or anything. And this isn't that copy, though, but when I saw the cover, had to acquire it. So this is a must-own for people who love older Silver Age comic art. So again, this starts out at only $399. Keep in mind, Silver Surfer will be eventually coming to the MCU, so books like this, they're going to continue to go up in value, and you'll see the majority of books that I sell still have many levels up to go. And remember, when I talk about people investing in anything, don't base it on what the price has been. Don't base it on where the price is. Base it on where you think it's going to go. So this is one of those books that once the Silver Surfer ends up in the MCU, once they start making the official announcements and show a trailer, for example, unless they make it a horrible thing, these books are going to continue to go up in value. So if they don't sell, they're just going to end up being higher in value later on. I've seen people do that, and they make a regret not making a purchase. but this is only $399. Now, this isn't a cracked case or anything. This is just the plastic wrap is ripped. So I will replace that if somebody does put a bid and make a payment on this. So any of them that have that, I will replace the bag. No problem. So you're not getting this. But I just want to let everybody know it's not a cracked case or anything. So it's a 4.0 Silver Surfer number 4. Creamed off-white pages. It is a Stan Lee story. John Buscema art. I will read the grader's notes. And again, the bidding starts at only $399. And just in case, if people here don't know, this is an auction, so you are allowed to make any bids if you want. Multiple creases and stress lines along the spine. That's absolutely going to be expected on a book like this because it is a very thick book. It is a Silver Age book, which means people bought them to read them. Moderate cover, edge, and spine wear. Multiple creases. And I'll again show the back. So if you're interested in this book, you could just write SS4 and the starting bid of $399. And then we'll go from there. So we'll give it another 30 seconds. And as you can see, pretty much the books I collect are all key issues. They're all going to continue to rise. And I've had many people on an auction that think, oh, a price of a book is too high. And they see a year or two later, when a movie gets introduced and the character gets introduced, the price is double and triple. Don't be that person. Take advantage while you can. And again, this will be replaced. It's not a cracked case or anything. It's just a rip. Because when I was putting them in, it just caught on the other one and it ripped the bag. But I will replace that. All right, last chance. Silver Surfer number 4. Iconic classic cover. John Buscema art. Going once. Going twice. All right, we have no sale on that. I'm going to be putting a lot of books away today. All right, this is another book a couple of people were asking about. I actually talked about this a little bit earlier. Starting bid, only $549. Amazing Spider-Man number 7, which is the second appearance of the Vulture. So if you cannot afford Amazing Spider-Man number 2, this is your next best bet. Now, this is mid-grade. So this is the second appearance of the Vulture. You're talking a book in the top 10 of Amazing Spider-Man issues. It has off-white to white pages, Steve Ditko art and cover, and a Stan Lee story. Of course, I will show the back. Bidding on this book starts at only $549. Came out in 1963. So let me mention. Okay, they did mention that it is the second appearance of the Vulture. So if anybody is interested in this book, bidding starts at $549. I will, of course, read the grader's notes. And again, if you want, go on eBay, check the sales, and you'll see that my price is the cheapest of the lowest sale. And I do not charge tax. Alright, so let's read the grader's notes. Multiple stress lines along the spine. Again, that's to be expected with a Silver Age book. Cover, edge, and spine wear. 2 edge tears on the front cover. 2 tears in the first 2 pages. What that is this little extended part right here. It goes like this, but it's kind of like ripped from here to here. Doesn't affect the story or anything. Nothing's missing. It's just extended a little bit. Other than that, this would have been graded much higher, because this is, as you could see, the cover is in really good condition. And I'll show the back. It's got an off-white coloring to it. But Amazing Spider-Man starting at only $549 at a 5.0. Again, off-white to white pages. Going once. Going twice. All right, no sale. Let's get to the next one. Okay. Key issue. Starting at $599. 3.0, Amazing Spider-Man Annual Number 1, first appearance of the Sinister Six. Now, they have been rumored to be in Marvel movies for a while now. They have not utilized them yet, but they haven't introduced... I don't believe they've introduced all the characters yet. I don't know. As the Craven movie... Yes, the Craven movie was out. I didn't watch it. But I think that means all of the characters... Because let's see. First appearance of the Sinister Six, which is Doc Ock. He was in a movie. Electro, Craven, Mysterio, Sandman, and the Vulture. And also the origin of Spider-Man Retold. This came out in 1964. So, again, this is a book. It doesn't need a movie to have value. But a movie will increase its value. So the idea is to get them while you can before they become unaffordium. So this book, starting bid at $549. Off-white to white pages. I will read the graders' notes while the people place their bids. We got a 1-inch spine chip at top. Reading crease on the front cover. 1-inch spine tear at bottom. Multiple stress lines along the spine. Multiple significant creases. Dirty front and back cover. And a 1 1/2 edge chip on front cover. Trade paper dad says Amazing Spider-Man bid $549. Sorry, was late. No problem. I'll reopen that really quick. So we'll have a bidder on that one. So that means it will no longer be available after the auction. But let's take care of this one first, and then I'll go back to that and see if anybody else wants to either outbid it or we'll close it, and then you can acquire that comic. But never apologize. That's all good. And see, that's exactly why I want people to place what comic they're bidding, so this way there's no confusion. So good job with that. All right, so again, this is the first appearance of the Sinister Six. Amazing Spider-Man Annual Number 1. $549. Going once. Going twice. I'm actually surprised about this, but that's perfectly fine, because if they do a Sinister Six appearance in a movie, that book's going to double and triple. Alright, so we're going to reopen this one, because we do have a bid. So I want to make sure, just in case somebody came late, or they were thinking about, you know, whether they wanted it or not, this will be your last chance to be able to acquire this. So because the bidding is over $500, it would be a $10 increment. So if anybody else wants to bid, we'll give it like about 30 seconds or so. And if nobody else bids, Trade Paper Dad will be the proud owner of the second appearance of the Vulture in a mid-grade 5.0. So if anybody else wants to make a bid, if they were thinking, well, I'll just contact Chris later, that option is now no longer available because we do have a bid. So I will give it, like I said, about 30 seconds if somebody wants to place a bid to acquire this book. And of course, this is Amazing Spider-Man number 7. This is the second ever appearance of the Vulture. It is graded at a 5.0, off-white to white pages. So this is your last chance if you want to own this book. Otherwise, it will no longer be for sale because we will have a winning bid. Last chance, 5.0, Amazing Spider-Man number 7. Second appearance of the Vulture. Going once. Going twice. All right, we have our winner for that. Trade Paper Dad is the one who is buying up the comic. So that's great, and thank you for mentioning that. So that's Amazing Spider-Man number 7. Obviously, you don't have to add any additional shipping for this, because I will allow up to 3 books for the first initial price of $19.99 if provided you live in the continental U.S., the 48 continental states. So I just have that information, which you probably don't need because you already made your first payment. All right, so that one is no longer available. So congratulations, Trade Paper Dad, on that. All right, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more to go. These are all the big boys. I have probably 15 copies of this book. I still have at least 2 to 3 more I have not even graded yet, because I'm sure people got sick of seeing these every month when I was sending in 4 books to get graded. So I do not mind selling one, even though I know that Deadpool 3 is coming out. They've already confirmed that Wolverine is in it. Not only is Wolverine in it, it's being played by Hugh Jackman, which, by the way, they've said, I guess it would depend on how long the writer strike goes and everything, but they said he is most likely signed up for multiple movies, so he won't be just one and done. But even if he is, the Wolverine character is now in the MCU, and I really think they're going to do this character justice, and this is going to just continue to go up and up and up. It's one of the most undervalued books in the Bronze Age, in my opinion. I'm starting the bidding at $429. It is a 3.5. This, of course, if you're unfamiliar with this book, let me enlighten you. It is Hulk number 80, which is the first appearance of Wolverine ever. It is in a cameo, but without 180, you would not have a 181. So, of course, most people want 181, but that's not his first appearance. That's his first full appearance. This is his first ever appearance. This is a 3.5, cream to white pages. Now, the importance of the fact that I graded this book myself, because I sent it in raw, is I know 100% that this has the value stamp. So you don't have to worry. So the bidding starts at only $429 for your chance to own first appearance of Wolverine in a cameo before the movie comes back into production. This is a guaranteed book that's going to continue to go up. So if you have the ability to finance, remember, I will allow 4 payments, because anything over $400 will qualify. So you could make 4 $100 payments, about $107 roughly and change. 4 payments with no interest. But here's your chance to own Incredible Hulk number 180. If you do not own this in your collection, it's a must-have in my opinion. For years, I've been making videos telling people that this is one of the most undervalued Bronze Age books out there, in my opinion. So I will show the back, and of course I will read the grader's notes. So by all means, go on eBay, look at what a 3.5 has sold for. Make sure it has the value stamp, though, because this absolutely does. For $429, I mean, obviously I can't guarantee it, but once the movies come out, and if the movies are halfway decent compared to some of the stuff that's come out recently, and it's actually watchable, and they continue to have Wolverine make his own appearances in his own movies, because remember, this is just him debuting in somebody else's movie. What do you think is going to happen to Wolverine books when he starts getting his first MCU solo appearances? So this is a no-brainer for me. And like I said, I have about 15 copies of this book, and that's after already selling probably 4 or 5 of them in the past couple of years. So not only do I have not a problem selling this, I have not a problem keeping this book. I'm only selling it to give people an opportunity that do not own this book to be able to own it, even though I know this book is pretty much guaranteed to go up in value. So if it doesn't sell, the next couple of books, you know what? If this doesn't sell on the live auction, I will give people 24 hours to contact me, otherwise I'm taking it off for sale. Marshall says, what is Hulk 180 going for? I would recommend you go on eBay right now, go into the sold, type in Hulk 180 at a 3.5, and you will see they sold for higher than what I am selling it for. And remember, eBay charges not only shipping, but they charge you tax. So at 400, let's say the book sold for 450. I think it was more like 475 to 500, because I always sell mine cheaper than the lowest sold. But let's say it sold for 450, you're still paying about $20 in taxes. So this book is only $429. I will read the greatest notes. I'll give people time. So the bidding starts at only $429. So if you want this, just type in Hulk 180, start with $429, or you could go for the jugular and put a higher one to keep people away. But that's why I always give people some time. And I mean, how many auction sites do you know, not just comic books, but how many auction sites do you know where they actually tell you to go verify the price so you could see for yourself? I stand by. Now, like I said, if somebody sold one of these today and it was lower than this, first of all, congratulations to that person. But second of all, I wouldn't have known about that. So I'm talking at the time I put the prices up for these books. When I checked on eBay, I listed these starting prices lower than the lowest of that grade level sold for. Now keep in mind, an ungraded book will sell for less, but that's ungraded. Keep in mind, you're also buying from somebody that you know is going to send you the book, that you know is going to send the book well protected, and you're not paying taxes. So $429 for Hulk number 180, cream to white pages, first appearance of Wolverine in a cameo. And like I said, I had this book raw, so I know 100% for a fact that the Marvel value stamp is in this book. So we're going to give this another minute because I want people to check. I'm not afraid to have people verify. Marshall says, I have eBay app. I'm not new. I sell on YouTube. By the way, I used to watch before I started selling myself. Well, that's awesome. Well, if you check and you want to post what you saw was the lowest one sold for this grade, you're more than welcome to. But let's read the greatest notes. And again, if this doesn't sell, I'll give anyone later on, I'll give people 24 hours to contact me if they're interested in this book after after it goes. Yeah, I'm about to read the greatest notes now. If I don't get a bid now, and within 24 hours, if nobody emails me about this book, it will no longer be for sale because I'll just sit back, wait a year or two, and watch this book double and triple in price. All right, so remember, this is a 3.5, so it is going to have some issues. The greatest notes, multiple stress lines along the spine. You notice a pattern with my books. I like, if I can help it, to have the problems of a book be on the sides because you can't really see them. But it's not like it's major. Like if I go along the spine, you're not seeing major tears or anything like that. So right now, that's not a bid. That's one of the moderators just saying what the price is. So there's multiple stress lines along the spine. That is to be expected. Significant cover and edge wear. That happens. Foxing. Again, that's a book that's been read. Weak spine. So again, that's a benefit of having a book like this already slabbed, because that's now going to protect that spine from having damage from somebody opening it. Unless, of course, you crack it open, then that defeats the purpose. And dirty back cover. So, as you can see, it's like an off-white color on the back. But it's not, like, to the point where you can't read anything. But it does have a little bit of, like, a dirty kind of feeling to it. But as you can see, it's not major. It just means somebody loved this book and read it. So, again, the bidding starts at only $429. Honestly, I will be amazed if people do not get this. If they do not already own it. Because to have a chance right now to be able to get the first appearance of Wolverine, knowing that he's about to appear in a movie and in several movies, and starting out with well, I can't say the best Wolverine because he was pretty much the only Wolverine, but having Hugh Jackman come back to play the role, that's going to increase the value of this book. I mean, this to me is a no-brainer. I've been saying it for 6 years. All right, so this is the last chance if you want to place a bid. $429. Hulk number 180. Cream to white pages at a 3.5. After this closes, if there are no bids, I will give people 24 hours to either reconsider here or contact me. After that, this will no longer be for sale. I'll just hold on to it and watch it keep going up. All right, so Hulk 180 going once. Going twice. All right, no sale. That one of all of them actually surprises me, especially at that price. Again, it may seem like, oh, that's high, but Comic Probe says Can you show close-ups of front and back? Yeah, all right, so I'll reopen it really quick. I have no problem with that at all. Let's do some close-ups, and I'll slow it down. So again, I want people to be happy. All right, so Jacob did place a bid. But I'll do, as you can see, the edges are nice and tight. I'll go slow. So since the bidding between 100 and 499, the bid increases is $5. You can see the corners. Let me look close. It's got a tiny bit of rounding, but not a major amount. You could see along the bottom. It's pretty straight for a book that's graded at 3.5. The majority of the damage on these older books are always going to be most of the time along the spine because people opened them up to read them. And if they were good stories, they opened up and read them several times. So since we have a bid, we will give people some extra time. And like I said, I encourage people to ask questions like that. You know, no one that is bought from my auction has ever gotten it and said, I want my money back. Because I tried my best to be as honest as I can, to share information as I can. And like I said, how many auctions have you ever watched where they actually encourage you to go on eBay and see what people are paying for them? Now let's show the back again. So, I mean, yes, it's a 3.5, but it's not a disgusting 3.5. It's not ripped to shreds. It doesn't have writing all over it. It's just a book. Because of the iconic nature of this book, it's probably been handed from person to person and read over the years. And I'll move my finger so it doesn't, so you can see I'm not trying to hide anything. And you can see there's no writing. There's no coupons cut out. So for a 3.5, this is a pretty decent book. And again, it's the first appearance of Wolverine. Now, like I said, of course, it is only a cameo, but you got to start somewhere. You know, that nowadays, if there's a cameo appearance of a character in a new book, that's the one that's hot because it's the first appearance. Why that doesn't translate to older books is beyond me. So we're going to give people a chance to look on eBay. Comic Probe says 3.5 seems pretty harsh, honestly. Looks like a 4 to a 4.5. Well, there you go. Just keep in mind that grading is speculative. Remember, humans grade these, so the person that graded this might have been a harsh grader. So, I mean, honestly, if you think it's a 4.0 to a 4.5, then the price of $429 is actually even a better deal. So, we'll give a chance, but right now there is a bid, so unless somebody else places a bid, and again, because I said any of the auctions that are $400 or more, if you need a payment plan, I will do up to 4 months of payments with no interest. So you're not only not paying interest, you're also not paying taxes. So this is your last chance if you want to outbid Jacob. Because this, to me, as far as an investment comic, if you do not own this book already, this is almost a no-brainer. It's like getting inside tips from a stock, knowing that it's going to go up in another year or two. I mean, you'd be crazy not to buy in. And the fact that I own about 15 copies, and that's after I sold about 5 or 6 of them, should tell you I'm all in on this book. Of course, I also have 5 copies of 181. I wish I had more, but, you know, that book is going to be extremely expensive. And when that gets out of range, where people now are selling Hulk 181 pages, and people are actually buying them for about $100 to $300 just for a page of 181. So as that book gets into what we call unobtainium range, this is the next book that everybody is going to go after. And what do you think that's going to do to the price? All right, so this is your last chance. We are about to do the old going once scenario. So if you want to place a bid, now's your only chance. Otherwise, Jacob is going to be a proud owner of this book, tax-free, and be the owner of a Hulk 180 first appearance of the Wolverine. Comic Pro says, if you're selling higher grade copies of Hulk 180, I'd be interested. At this point, I'm waiting for the movies. Like I said, because I have 10 or 15 copies of these, I'm selling one of my lower grade ones just to give somebody who does not own one an opportunity, even though I know this book is guaranteed to double in price in another couple of years. So even though I do have higher grade books, I mean, I have a 9.0 of this book, I have an 8.0 of this book, none of those are for sale right now. So unless somebody blew me away, which would be silly to do, there will be no more of these for sale until after the movies start coming out. All right, so last chance. Going once. Going twice. Hulk 180 at $429 has now been sold to Jacob. Congratulations on that. Again, I'm actually surprised there were not multiple people buying that book, but I'm sure for Jacob, he's going to be very happy about that. So let me just write down the information. I put the information on the payment, so congratulations, Jacob, on that. And if you ever do get it resubmitted, if you end up with a higher grade, email me. I would love to hear it, because I'm very happy when people have that happen. I don't remember the book, but I remember years ago somebody bought a book from me, cracked it open and pressed it, and it got a higher grade. I'm not upset about that. I'm actually happy for the person. So congratulations on that. Now, before you can make another bid on anything else, you'd have to make a payment for that. If you need a payment plan for whatever reason, the first payment would have to be made within 24 hours, or again, it would have to be made right away if you want to make any other bids. So congratulations on that one. That's to me, like I said, that's a no-brainer. Like, that's exactly why I own about 15 copies, now 14 copies of that book. I'm all in. Same with this book. I got about probably 6 or 7 copies after I've sold a bunch of them. This is my third highest grade, so this is a higher grade key issue. This is another no-brainer. The price starts, and again, if you hear the price and you say, wow, that's high, go look at what this is sold for. The bidding starts at $1,249. Oh yeah, that's true, Jacob. You've done that before, so you don't have to worry about paying until after the auction, especially if you want to bid on some of these, because the remaining ones are Grail books, pretty much. So, this is Amazing Spider-Man, number 129. The bidding starts at $1,249. This is graded a 6.5 off-white to white pages. So, of course, first appearance of the Jackal, which, honestly, no one really cares about, unless you're a Jackal fan, no offense. But, of course, everybody's getting it for the first appearance of the Punisher. And, of course, Punisher is on the cover, which is a double whammy of goodness for this book. Now, again, I encourage people, if you think $1,249 is a lot, again, I will accept 4 payment plans if you need them to make it easier, and there will be no interest. But go look on eBay. See what a 6.5 has sold for. Not what's selling, because they're even higher. See what they've sold for, the lowest that's been sold. And you will see that mine is not only lower from their price that it was sold for, but that's not including the taxes that eBay charges. So this one does not have grader's notes, because again, like the other book from earlier, I got this one graded before the grader's notes was an option. But I will go over this with a fine-tooth comb for anybody that's interested. So this is a 6.5 off-white to white pages. This is another no-brainer because the Punisher will be coming to the MCU, whether it's a TV show or a movie. I don't know, but the rumors are that John Bernthal, and forgive me if I butchered the name, has been rumored to come back to play Punisher, just like the guy who played Daredevil in the Netflix show, I forget his name off the bat, came back. Now, of course, there's no guarantees with that, and anything can change, especially with the writer's strike. But go look this up. This is another must-own if you do not own it, and it is a higher grade book. So this is $1,249. So if you're interested in making an offer and making a bid, you just put ASM 129. $1,249, or you could go for the jugular and go higher if you want. I'll show the back, and I'll go very slowly. So you can see the back is nice and white. I actually thought this book was between a 7 and an 8. So I wasn't disappointed that it came back a 6.5. But I was surprised. Because this book is beautiful. Now, does that guarantee if you resubmit it that the grade will go up? There's always possibilities, because you've seen in the past, I have actually had books that I resubmitted for grading. Some say the same. Some actually went down by half a point. And some have gone up. So you do take a chance with any company resubmitting a book. But sometimes it can pay off in that gamble. So you could see the back looks pretty darn nice for the first appearance of The Punisher. So the bidding starts at $1,249. If you need a payment plan, no problem at all. 6.5. Again, I encourage people, look these up. Look at what these are selling for. Because, well, actually, the people that are selling them for even more than what the lowest sold is for. And, you know, I never checked when the lowest one was sold. That could have been 7 months ago. And the most recent sale could have been $300 more. Because timing is everything. If you bought a book 6 months ago, and last week they did an announcement of a movie for the first time, that book is going to skyrocket. So again, this is another no-brainer when it comes to owning an iconic character's first appearance. And he is on the cover. That's why Hulk 181 is so popular. But again, I will go slowly so you can see the condition of this book. So again, this is another book. Because I have several copies, I do not mind trying to sell one, because I'll still own the book. And like I said, I have higher copies. I know I have one that's at least an 8.0, and I think I have another that's a 6.5. I don't know if I have a 7.5. That might have been one I sold to move here, because I don't have every book I have memorized. But 1,249. And again, look at the bright yellow. The colors, look at the red in Spider-Man's suit, or costume, if you will. And again, I'll move my finger so you don't think I'm hiding anything. Look at the red in the Spider-Man logo. So this has Ross Andrew art, Gil Kane cover, and Jerry Conway story. So we'll give it about another minute, give people a chance to look this up. It's another book. If you do not own it, you know, these books don't get cheaper. You're not going to find this book for $100 unless you go to some yard sale and somebody doesn't know what they're selling. But what are the odds? I mean, you know, talk about needle in a haystack. So $1,249 for the first appearance of The Punisher in high grade. 6.5 off-white to white pages. It's another book I will have no problem if it doesn't sell. I will have no problem keeping it and watching the prices go higher and higher. So again, I will accept up to 4 months of payments interest-free, if that helps you to be able to acquire this book. All right, last chance before we move on. Going once for Amazing Spider-Man, number 129. Going twice. And no sale on that one. That's all right. That's a book I have no problem. The remainder of these books I have no problem holding on to if they don't sell. But again, if you're watching this later on, when the video is no longer live, if that book catches your fancy and you think, like for example, the 4 payment plan option is something that's doable for you. Again, I don't charge tax and I don't charge interest. You can contact me at, right here, I'll post it again, at peacefulfeelings@yahoo.com. Message me and say, I saw the auction. I saw that nobody placed any bids. Is it still available? And if more than one person sends that message, I will let them know that the person that sends me the highest offer will acquire the book. So you can contact me at peacefulfeelings@yahoo.com if you're interested in that. And again, make sure if you're placing a bid, make sure you write down the name of the comic that you're bidding on, the price, and make sure that you have this set on live chat. You'll see on the top of the left-hand corner of the area where you are typing in your chat. If you go to the top of it, you'll see it'll either say top chat or live chat. Make sure that is in live chat, so there is not, I think there's like a 30-second delay if that happens. So that's why I always take a little bit extra time, because somebody might not have seen that or heard me say that, and they think they placed a bid and I didn't see it. All right, so let's move on to the next one. This one doesn't have a bag. I will put one in there. So the bag I had on it was ripped, so I just took it off. Bidding on this book starts at only $599. It's another book that I've been telling people for years is a must-own. This book is pretty much another guaranteed to continue to go up in value. The price is going down a little bit now because of the writer's strike. That is the time to pounce on this book. I have... Again, it's another one I have at least 10 copies of, and that's after I've sold probably 4 or 5 of these over the years. So it's another book I am all in on. So the bidding starts at $599, and that is Fantastic Four, number 49, which is the first full appearance of Galactus, who is on the cover, by the way, and the second appearance of Silver Surfer, right there. I consider this a classic cover, but they do not mention it as a classic cover. Graded a 4.0, off-white pages. Now again, this one does not have graders notes because this one I bought years ago, and that was before PGX took my idea for graders notes. So right now, Fantastic Four, number 49. Most people, when it comes to the covers between 48 and 49, most people prefer 49 over 50. But obviously 48 is going to be the most valuable, but that also means the books are going to be more expensive because, of course, that's the first cameo appearance of Galactus and the first appearance of Silver Surfer. Now, we know both of these characters are coming to the MCU. So let me ask you, comic collectors / investors, if a book's at a certain price before major characters show up in a movie, do you think once they show up in a movie, provided it goes well, even in the trailers, because that'll happen in the trailers, do you think the price will go down, the price will stay the same, or the prices will go up? Again, go on eBay, look up a Fantastic Four 4.0, and again, I'll try and do a close-up so you can see. The back is pretty much an off-white color. No writing, no tears. The major problem, if you want to call it major, is a little sliver of a piece missing on the front cover. As you can see, it's not the other pages. So look this up on eBay. Look up Fantastic Four number 45. Number 49. Graded a 4.0. And you'll see that I am listing this for cheaper than what the lowest one was sold for, not including tax. So let's say the lowest was 550, let's say 600. It's 600 plus tax, plus shipping. I don't charge tax. So off-white pages, first full appearance of Galactus, second appearance of the Silver Surfer, and first Silver Surfer and Galactus cover. This again is another book that even though I have multiple copies of, and again, when I buy multiple copies of something, it's because I'm all in on it. This is a no-brainer to add to a collection knowing that these characters have not yet debuted in an MCU movie. So the price is just going to continue to go up, and it's another book. Again, even though I have multiple copies, I do not mind holding on to, and I'll do some close-ups. You could see there's some little, when people open the pages, there's a little bit of bends that break the color at the top. But again, you're talking at a 4.0, there's going to have some issues with it. but that's how you can get these for cheaper. If you're looking for a higher grade, you're going to be spending higher grade money. Lower grade is great for people who can't afford a higher grade and still want to own the book. Because as they say, and say it with me, as I have always said, low grade is better than no grade. The funny part is, the back cover is much nicer than the front cover. Nothing wrong with the back cover. If the front cover was nice as the back, this would be an 8.0. So most of the damage is on the front. But again, look at the coloring. It's not faded. Look at the reds. Very deep colors. So at only $599, this is a no-brainer. Unless, of course, you already own this book. So again, this is a book I have no problem holding on to. But go check eBay, and you can see for yourself what these have sold for. And these books are not going to keep continuing to be going down. They're going to be going up in the long term. And remember, if you're buying comics to invest in, and like I said, nobody's buying a graded book to read it. If you're going to buy books to invest in, you want to get the ones that are going to continue to go up in value. So I'm not selling books that are past their prime. I'm not selling you the first appearance of when Captain America lifted Thor's hammer, because that is never going to see the prices it once saw at its peak. But books like this, they're going to keep going up. So this is your last chance to own the first appearance, well, the first full appearance of Galactus and the second appearance of Silver Surfer at only $599. Otherwise, I'll be happy to keep this in my collection. Going once. Going twice. No sale. Alright, so again, if you're watching this later on and you can't believe that people did not take advantage of that book and you want to add it to your collection, you can contact me at peacefulfeelings@yahoo.com and say, I saw Nobody Bid on Fantastic Four number 49. Is it still available? And if you'd like to do the minimum, and again, with the price of over $400, you can do a 4-month payment plan. On any of these last books that I show, the 4-month payment plan is available, even if you're not watching this live, which if you're watching it now, you are. All right, so there are 3 more books. These are all big boy books. These are must-owns, unless, of course, it's something that's out of your price range, which is understandable. But these books, they're not going to get any cheaper than they are now. We got big boy book number 1. We got Daredevil, issue number 1. The bidding starts at $1,599. And again, I will accept a 4-month payment plan with no interest if you need it. Graded a 1.5, which shows how much this has gone up. To give you an example, when I moved to Florida, to get here, I had to sell some comic books. I sold a 6.0 of Daredevil number 1, and I think I sold it for about $1,500. That was 6 years ago. No, actually 5 years ago. 4 years ago. I got to learn my math. So 4 years ago, I sold a 6.0 for what a 1.5 is going for now. That shows how much this has gone up, especially since Daredevil is now in the MCU. I hope they will do some new writers after this writer's strike and give Daredevil the justice he deserves from his Netflix TV shows, because those were amazing. But this is a chance to own the first appearance of Daredevil in a lower grade, yes, but you'll still own the first appearance. And I will show the back. Now this does have graders notes. There is a piece missing right here. See this whole part here? That's why this is in the low grade it's in. But it's the first appearance of Foggy Nelson, Karen Page, and Daredevil. So when it comes to first appearances of major characters, they're not cheap. Not anymore. If you would have bought this 5 years ago, you would pay nowhere near what you have to pay now. But, you know, years ago you could have bought a car for $400. You can't buy a car for $400, a brand new car for $400 anymore. But a Model T Ford was selling for $400. So you can't go by what was, you have to go by what is by the current moment. So again, look up on eBay. If you think, wow, $1,599 is a lot, go look at what a 1.5 has sold for on eBay, and you will see that mine is cheaper. Now, just imagine the tax on this one. If the book sold, let's assume the book on eBay sold for $1,700. Now you're paying probably about $80 to $90 in taxes extra on top of that price. No tax here, and eBay doesn't give you, well, actually if you use PayPal, you can get a payment plan, but they will charge you interest. I do a 4-month payment plan with no interest. So again, reason I'm selling this is to pay off some bills. You got to sell something to make the money. I own 2 other copies of this book, so I do not mind selling one of them to somebody who will give this a loving home. And I still own Daredevil #1. So it's not like I sold this and now I have a regret because, it's a book I love. I still own 2 copies. So again, another book, if it does not sell, I have no problems at all holding on to this, waiting for Daredevil to come into an MCU movie, maybe even star in his own movie soon, and watch this book continue to go up. I mean, iconic characters are not going to get cheaper. There may be dips from time to time. That is going to happen. But you buy on the dips. You're not going to be seeing major dips on books like this or the next 2 I'm showing anytime soon. So this is your last chance on this. Yes. Trade paper, Dad says, is a Daredevil #1 complete? No missing pages. It is 100% complete. No missing pages at all. And the only major problem is there's a piece, and that's only the back cover. There's no pages from that missing as well. So it's just the back cover is missing this section. But it is 100% complete. As you can see, I'll let it focus, blue label. And again, this is a book I bought raw and sent in to get graded myself. So this is a complete, it is a 1.5. It is creamed off-white pages. I will accept a 4-month payment plan if you need it. $1,599 for the first appearance of Daredevil, even in lower grade, at the current rate that these are selling for and what they will continue to sell for, they're going to keep going up. 5 years ago, you could have bought an Amazing Fantasy 15 0.5 for about $1,500 to $2,000. Not anymore. So books like these, you get dips every now and then. But you're not finding these for a steal unless, somebody stole one from somebody and is selling it for $500 just to make some kind of money. So this is not stolen illegal merchandise. This is from my own personal collections. It is complete. I did not read the grader's notes, so let me read those now. Again, the bidding starts at $1,599. I encourage people to look on eBay, see what a 1.5, the lowest one that was sold. Don't even bother wasting your time on the lowest one selling because they're going to be even higher. Go with the lowest one that's sold, and you will see that this is cheaper, and I don't charge the tax that eBay charges. But let's read the grader's notes. Now, I did this one back in New York when they just started the grader's notes. So as you can see, they have the PGX label in the center. They've now moved that. So the grader's notes are there, but this is an older one when they just started doing the grading. So we got multiple stress lines along the spine. Again, at a 1.5, that's to be expected. But the staples are both intact. The centerfold is intact. So none of the staples are missing. None of the staples are disconnected. So the staples are completely intact. Significant cover edge and spine wear. Again, a book that's been read. That's to be expected. 2-inch spine tear. And then 1/4 of the back cover missing. I don't agree with 1/4. It's actually, in my opinion, a little bit smaller than 1/4, but I don't think they're going to be like, oh, 2/16 or something. So they did say 1/4, but I'll put my hand on the area that's missing. That's less than 1/4. So even though it says 1/4 of the back missing, it is less than 1/4. Not by much, but it is less. So both staples are intact. The centerfold is intact. It is 100% complete. First appearance of Daredevil. Oh, and the bottom part here says several chips. So as you could see along the top, well, it's not major, but they said there's several. And again, I'll give people the time to verify this. This is one of those that, in my opinion, again, the last couple of books, especially the next two, and including this, they're no-brainers to add collection. Now, obviously, if you are now on my current salary, I can understand how you couldn't be able to purchase this. But if you have the means to be able to afford books like this, time is now before they start getting back to making the movies again and adding these characters. All right, so we'll have the last chance. Trade Paper Dad says he's going to think about it, which is perfectly fine. I don't want anybody to ever feel like they're pressured to have to buy. I want people to be happy with their purchases. So, again, take your time if you need it. You can always contact me after the auction's closed if you're still interested. But I want people to be very happy with their purchases. This is not trying to get rid of garbage to make some money. I sell stuff that people want. Now, whether they were able to afford it, that's a whole nother story. Because, like I said, now I couldn't afford it. But that can change. You never know. I could win the lottery tomorrow. But going once, Daredevil #1, 1.5, creamed off-white pages. First appearance of Daredevil in his lovely banana suit, which, by the way, only lasted six issues. Because issue 7, he got his iconic red costume. Going twice. Starting bid of $1,599. Payment plan available. No sale. All right. So, if you're somebody that watches this later and you want to add that to your collection, as of now, it is available. Trade Paper Dad said he's going to see what the next two are, and he might come back to that, so keep that in mind, because he's dealt with me. I've dealt with him before. He pays on time. He's a very reliable person, and obviously he's happy with my service because he's ordered from me multiple times, so it's available as of now. If somebody changes their mind or watches this later on, just message me where you see peacefulfeelings@yahoo.com. All right, last two comics. And thank you to the 30 people that hit the like button. I really appreciate that. And to the people that are watching, even if you did not place a bid and you just came here to watch, I thank you for participating. But we got the last two comics. And again, these are big boy books. This book has seen a dip because the movie has already passed. That is the time to pounce, because once you see a dip, you know, like any investment, there's going to be peaks and valleys. But like if something goes up, it doesn't go up like this. If it does, be very concerned, because that's the time to sell something. But you'll see this down, this down, this down. That's what you want to see. This book had its dip. In my opinion, I don't think it's going to get any lower. Now, of course, you may see $10, $20 difference. And sometimes people can sell stuff because they're desperate, and they'll sell it for any price because something's better than nothing. But I own several copies of this book. It's another one of those books. If it doesn't sell, I'll keep it. I don't care. I am starting the bidding at only $999 for this book. We got Amazing Spider-Man #14. That is the first appearance of the Green Goblin. Now, as you can see, somebody wrote their name on it. So if anybody out there watching, if your last name, I'm assuming that's your last name because that would be a horrible first name, Boags. But that's the only major defect. And of course, I will show the back and everything. But this is the first appearance not only of the Green Goblin, it is the first ever crossover between Spider-Man and the Incredible Hulk. And the only time that Green Goblin is riding what I call the magical vacuum cleaner. Because in his second appearance, which is issue 17, he has his trademark glider. So there are some major significances. Now, obviously, this character was in the last Spider-Man MCU movie. But again, this is a character that does not need a movie to have it be valuable. The movies will only boost it up for a little while. Now that the movie is come and gone, the people who do not know how to invest will see the price dip a little bit and think, oh, it's on its way down. There are peaks and valleys. If you know how to invest, you know there are peaks and valleys. You buy at the valleys, you sell at the peaks. So I'm selling this book. If I would have had it listed 6 months before the movie, this would have probably been about a $2,000 book, $1,800. Now's the time to pounce on this because it's only going to go up, and that's in my opinion. You could not agree. That's fine. Look at my trade. Look at my history about comics. I'm pretty spot on when it comes to valuable comics. I'm not 100% because no one is, but if you're a betting man going by the odds are I tend to be right more than I'm wrong because I pay attention to things. So this is a 2.0, so it makes it more affordable to people that would love to own this and cannot afford a high grade. It's cream to white pages. This came out in 1964. First appearance of the Green Goblin and first meeting of Spider-Man and the Hulk. Now, it's I think the second appearance of the Enforcers, but to be perfectly honest, no one's really going to care about that. The Enforcers debuted in issue 10. I highly doubt there were any other issues that they were in, but if they were, let me know. But it's missing. It has Grader's notes, but it is missing a tiny little piece on the top. That's only on the cover. You could see part of the comics code is torn off, so it's missing that tiny little piece, but that stuff like that is expected. I will go over the greatest notes, but you could look at the back. No coupons are missing. There are no tears. The book is 100% complete. Staples are attached at the cover and the centerfold. This is another one of the books that I sent in raw and got graded myself. Obviously, that name right there is going to deter some people. I don't care about that stuff. I mean, if it was something that covered the whole entire book, again, it depends on the price. Because I have like an Avengers #1 where the Hulk in the center was completely cut out. I really don't care because I got a good price for it, especially now. And again, when you're talking about investments, don't go by what was, don't go by what is, go by what it's going. So for you to get the chance to own the first appearance of the Green Goblin, and again, I will accept the payment plans, 4-month payment plans, no interest. The bidding starts at only $999. I will read the greatest notes, but again, I highly encourage, go on eBay, look up an Amazing Spider-Man #14, graded at 2.0. Make sure they're graded, not look at raw books, because anybody can say they think a book is a 2.0. You want a graded book, and you'll see the listing price that I am listing it as is lower than the lowest sale, and they don't even add the taxes to it. So when you're talking about a $1,000 to $1,500 book, you're talking about at least, again, about $70, $80 extra in taxes. Drunk says, I don't think that is a name. It looks like 130 AGS. Oh, I never even thought of that as an option. What do you think, what would that mean, 130 AGS? So good call on that. To me, that always looked like a B. So I thought it was a person's name of Boags. I always thought, that's a strange name. But I wonder what 130 AGS would mean. If you know what that is, and good call on that, because I've never even considered that. Because, an O and a 0 are pretty much the same. And that 13, if that is a 13, looks like a B. So could it be 130 AGS? I mean, obviously that's not going to increase or decrease the value. But I wonder what 130 AGS would mean. Anybody knows or would like to make a guess? Maybe AGS is a person's initials, and maybe they live to be 130. Hey, you never know. But there you go, a little extra trivia for you. All right, so last chance on this book. Again, it's another book I do not mind holding on to. Oh, let me read the greatest notes. And again, the bidding starts at only $999. You can use the 4-month payment plan if you are interested in it. No interest. Tape on interior cover of spine. 7-inch spine split, which would explain the lower grade. Multiple chips. Multiple stress lines along the spine. Significant cover wear. So again, you could see the coloring. And I'll try and zoom in. Colors, look at the red on the Amazing Spider-Man. His suit and the words. You know, look at the black from the bubble of the words. You're not seeing color breaks all over the place. You're not seeing tears. This is a book that's been read, but that's your opportunity to get a book at a much cheaper price. Now keep in mind, tape is not considered restoration. So a lot of books, especially in the Silver and Golden Age, they won't even lower the grade because there's tape on it. Now, obviously, if you bought a brand new book and put tape on it, they're going to lower the grade. But because back in those days, people didn't buy them basically to invest in them, they bought them to read them, people put tape on them as a normal thing. So that's not restoration. All right, so this is your last chance. Again, this is another one of those books I do not mind holding on to, watching the prices continue go up as years go on. Amazing Spider-Man number 14, first appearance of the Green Goblin. Starting price of only $999 at a 2.0. Going once. Going twice. And no sale. All right, another book I'm actually surprised of, but you never know. People might not be able to afford it even with the 4-month payment plan, and trust me, I know what that feels like, but that's perfectly fine. I'll keep that and sell it another day when the price is probably double. All right, so last up, we got the biggest of the ones that I'm selling. This, to me, is another no-brainer. Character is still relevant. There is going to be a season 2 of the characters... it was definitely, no, it was a Disney Plus show. Let's get into it. The bidding starts at $1,999. This is not a cheap book. But again, I am listing it cheaper than what the lowest one on eBay was sold for at the same grade. And they don't even include the taxes. So we've got Journey into Mystery. Number 85. That is the third appearance of Thor, but the first appearance of Loki, who is, as you could see on the cover, Heimdall, the city of Asgard, and Odin. Now, Odin is a cameo, but it is still his first appearance. So we got major first appearances. So, by far, and it's debatable with Thanos, but by far the MCU villain that most people think is the most iconic overall, because remember, Thanos, other than a few cameo appearances, was only in 2 movies. But Loki was in several and has his own TV show, which, like I said, they're coming with season 2. This is a no-brainer. Plus, like I said, it's the third appearance of Thor. $1,999. It does have grader's notes. This is a 4.0, so close to mid-grade. Off-white pages. It is complete. Staples are intact. Centerfold is intact. And I will show and read the grader's notes. Give people a chance to look this up. And again, with the 4-month payment plan, this is, to me, it's a must-have if you can afford it to add into your collection if you don't already own this book. Because, let me ask you, Season 2 is going to be coming out. Season 1 was pretty successful. When Season 2 comes out... Oh, yeah, our moderator wrote 35, not 85. But that's okay. Thank you for correcting that. Is it Jay Miltz? Yes. So, well, let's reiterate. It is Journey into Mystery, number 85. But you guys know that. But thank you for the correction. 4.0. But like I was saying, since Season 2 is coming out, soon. I'm not sure because with the writer's strike, I don't know if they're waiting to put it out or not. I'm not sure how that's going to be going. Knowing that this first season was pretty much a hit, probably one of their last hits, even though it did have some SJW moments, I'm not going to lie. But overall, I liked that show. It was one of the few that I've watched, let alone watched to the end. Some of the newer ones I haven't watched at all and have no desire to, of some of these other shows. But what do you think is going to happen to this book when Season 2 comes out? Do you think, A, the price is going to go down? B, the price is going to stay the same? Or C, you think the price is going to go up? And again, this character does not need a movie or a TV show to have value, because remember, there's more than one first appearance in here. The major one, of course, is Loki. But it's also got the first appearance of Odin. That's a very, significant character in the MCU and in the Marvel Cinematic Universe and the regular Marvel Universe. You have Heimdall, who is the keeper of the bridge, of the Rainbow Bridge, and Asgard itself, which would include the Rainbow Bridge, and third appearance of Thor. So is this an expensive book? Yes. But, valuable books are going to be worth money. You can't sugarcoat that. This is not a 0.5. It's not a 1.0. It's not a restored book. It's not a incomplete book. This is a complete 4.0 off-white pages of the first appearance of Loki, Heimdall, Asgard, and cameo appearance of Odin. And I'll show the back really quick. And again, 1-month payment plans. It is available. No taxes. Now you could see the PGX logo in the center because I graded this back in New York, so that was just when the Graders Notes was a thing, and they were basically trying to figure out how to do it. But I will read the Graders Notes right now for you. Multiple creases and stress lines along the spine. Again, I have no problem with that because that's what happens with books that were read. Multiple edge tears. Staining. There's a little stain, and it's a little bit. See that little bit right there? So that is a stain, but it's not a major significant stain. It's just basically a little dot. And there might be a tiny faded. I don't know if that's part of the stain or that's dirt right there. But the stain is that spot, but there's maybe some, I guess, residue or dirt on that little part there. Spine tear at the top, staple tears at bottom, but they are not loose and they are not disconnected, and significant cover edge and spine wear. So that's to be expected, but as you could see, colors completely pop. Book is complete. This book is going to continue to, at the very least, retain its value, but in my opinion, continue to go up in value. And it's one of those books, this is the only copy I own. So if I sell this, I no longer own it. So it will be the one that if I sell, I'm going to be disappointed. But, like I said, you got to sell something good to make the money you need to pay bills. And like I said, that's why I'm doing this auction. I'm not selling these yet because I'm desperate. But when I lost that job, I want to make sure I have money to pay my bills before I get to the point. Right now, I have no bills overdue. So to make sure of that, sometimes you got to sacrifice things. And since this isn't my most valuable book, this is probably in the top 15 books that I own. But it's definitely not my top 1 or top 3 or top 5. So this is the last chance. And again, if you're watching this later on and it's not live, if nobody bids, it will be available. This one, again, I will allow for 24 hours. If somebody doesn't contact me within 24 hours of the auction closing, this book will no longer be for sale. So this is your only opportunity to be able to get this book at $1,999. Journey into Mystery number 85 at a 4.0. Going once. Going twice. All right, and at this time, that auction is closed. So that's a book. Like I said, I'll give people, after the auction's over, 24 hours to contact me. If somebody's interested in it within that time period and they make the minimum bid of $1,999 plus, of course, plus the shipping, I will definitely consider it. After 24 hours, I'll just put that back and hold on to it. So congratulations to Trade Paper Dad and Jacob Morgan, the two people that bid on the three comics. Didn't sell a lot, but that's just on the live show. You never know what's going to happen after the live show ends. Some people may not be home right now, maybe enjoying the weather and out, watching a movie or going to the beach with the family or something, and they come back and watch this later. So I've had that happen before, so don't give up. This does help, even though I was hoping to sell more. As they say, something's always better than nothing. I want to thank my moderator for helping me out with this. Trade Paper Dad says, let me sleep on the AS14 and let you know how much is shipping on my two books. If you live in the continental U.S. 48 states, it's $19.99. So if you do end up getting the ASM 14, because I allow up to 3 graded books for $19.99, there wouldn't be any additional shipping charges. So the first 3 books in the local 48 United Continentals in the United States is $19.99. So yeah, trade paper. If you want to sleep on it, again, no pressure. Jacob Morgan says maybe you should sell some cheaper ones to get some sales. Things are tight right now for people. Yeah, I totally understand. That's exactly why I did the chance for people to use the payment plans. But yeah, I mean, to be able to pay my bills to sell $20 books isn't really going to help me. And honestly, I want people to have the chance to be able to acquire some key books that are going to give them value. As they say, you got to spend money to make money. So if you're buying a $20 book, what are you going to sell it for? 25, maybe 30, 40 at best to double your money. So I understand what you're saying where money's tight, and trust me, I know. But if you're going to buy comics for investment, it is better to get things that have value, that will retain value, that are going to give you a better return on income, a return on investment, RIV. So yes, I could sell $20 books all day. But those are books. You're not going to buy a $20 book and sell it for $2,000. So I'm trying to give people, and there's plenty of different YouTube channels that'll sell you all those cheaper books. But again, if you're buying them cheap, you're going to be selling them cheap. Because if you're buying a group of 20 books for $50, and they're worth maybe $1 a piece, or maybe $3 a piece at best, I mean, you're not making any money. So the way to get yourself out of debt and get yourself out of current financial situations is you have to not be afraid to take risks when they are available for the future of a higher and greater investment. And you can't do that with $5 and $10 investments unless you're buying a penny stock and you spend $20 and it goes up 500%. So that's why I sell the ones that I sell. So, I sold 3 and I sold 2 others earlier today. So that will pay for some of my bills. It will make things a lot easier. And who knows, in the next 24 hours, I might sell 2 or 3 more. But I want to sell books that give people the best opportunity to get a higher return in their value. And you can't do that with cheap books. I mean, every now and then you might find, the needle in the haystack, but the odds are stacked against you with that. The books that I sell, yes, they're going to be more expensive, but you have a greater chance of a much better return on your investment. And that's why I want to sell you these kind of books. And that's why I also offer like the payment plans, because I want it to be something where I give people the opportunity to be able to take a chance on an investment. And you can ask some of my previous buyers that actually took advantage of the payment plans, and their books in 2 to 3 years doubled and tripled in value. So, like they say, you got to spend money to make money. GT Key Comics says, I hope you get another DJ job. Yeah, I have no problem getting jobs. It's just keeping them. Because unfortunately, my experience with bar owners, most bar owners will spend lots of money opening their bar, do nothing to advertise it, and think they just open the front door and millions of people will walk in. Doesn't work that way. You have to put the effort in. And when they don't do that, unfortunately, people like me suffer, because when I walk into a bar and there is literally nobody in the bar, I will eventually lose the job. And there's nothing I can do about that. So this bar where I lost the DJ job, I mean, it was a great place. It was a restaurant/bar. It was big. It was non-smoking. Served pretty decent food. Pretty decent prices for the area. But the owner was never there. The owner never put any advertisements. I even told them, if you don't want to spend money, make a flyer, put it on your bar window, put it on the bar stool for free. And he didn't want to do that. So unfortunately, owners that I've experienced since 1999, the majority of them could care less about their business, and yet they're surprised when their business fails. So I will always find another DJ job. I'm looking for a DJ job where I could work for a person that actually loves owning their bar, is there and making the effort to support the bar, and actually will advertise it and care that there are customers in their bar. I can't do anything with a bar, no matter how good I am. If there's nobody in the bar, I can't do anything about it. And I've had regulars that I do have a little bit of a following, even though I've only been here for about 4 years. I do have a loyal following. But even a lot of them won't come because they don't want to go to a bar where they want to party or maybe meet girls, and there are literally 3 people in the bar the entire night on a Friday and Saturday. I've seen many a person open the door to walk in, they take a look, they see the bar completely empty, and they walk right back out. So that has nothing to do with me, that has to do with the bar owner. So, but it is what it is. That's why I don't worry. And that's one of the things why I tell people all the time that investing in comics, if done right, you can earn one heck of a living. Because remember, the only reason I am in Florida right now is because 4 years ago, you could see the auction's still there. I sold enough of my B and C level comics to be able to buy a house in cash down here. Now, obviously, I'm not living in the Trump Tower or anything, or like Mar-a-Lago, but it's paid for with no mortgage. So that helps in these times. But comic books, if done correctly, you could make more return on your investment than most stocks. I mean, like I said, a lot of these books, when you know the movie's coming out and you know a certain character's coming out, it's like having inside information of a stock. It's amazing how many people don't take advantage and wait. Because unfortunately, most people invest with emotions. They buy it when it's hot and everybody wants it, and they sell it or ignore it when the price goes down. Well, if you know anything about investing, it's buy low and sell high. So why do most people buy when it's at the peak, at its highest price, and why do people most sell them when they're all going down? It's because they're basing it on an emotional roller coaster. They're not investing properly. So I try and teach people a different way, and that's why when I sell books on my auction site, I am selling books that are going to have the best chance of a return on investment. Now, whether people see that or not, that I have no control over. But I know through the years of doing my live auctions, I've had many messages of people with regret that they didn't pounce on a book that they thought was expensive at the time and had the finances to buy it, thinking they'll wait for a dip that never came. And now that book is 2, 3, 4, 10 times what the price is now. Like, prime example, like I said, one of my Daredevil #1s, and I don't remember the exact price, but like I said, the auction is still on there. I save every video. So when I was moving to New York, I had to sell some good comics to be able to make the money to get here to Florida. A 6.0 Daredevil #1 at that time I believe I sold for about 1,500, give or take a couple of hundred here or there. That's what the going rate is now for a 1.5. So if somebody thinks an investment comic or investment anything is expensive now, and it still has room to grow in the future, and you don't pounce on it if you have the ability, you're hurting yourself. So yes, there's going to be other YouTube channels that are going to sell you the bundles. They'll sell you 50 comics that are dollar comics. You'll spend $25 on 50 comics that if you're buying them to read them, that's great. You just saved a lot of money. But if you're buying them because you think, oh, I'm going to get a gold mine because somebody was selling #1 issues of Raggedy Ann and Andy #1 or the Silverhawks #1, nobody cares about those. The #1s I have, on, especially like here, Daredevil #1. You know, one that doesn't have any major significance, but still, Golden Age book, Blondie #1. That's a known comic book, well, comic strip character. #1 issue from 1947. So if you're going to get a #1 book, it should be at least something that has some retainability. Not just because it's a #1. And that's why I don't buy new books anymore. Because you notice, every 6 months, they just stop a series and just start over with another #1 because they know somebody will come along and buy it because they're like, oh, it's a #1 issue. That's why, what is it, Amazing Spider-Man now has, 12 volumes at this point? Where if you say you have an Amazing Spider-Man #1, well, what does that mean? Volume 1? The first real #1 issue? Or Volume 7? Or 8? Or 9? I guarantee you if I said, what's the significance of Amazing Spider-Man #1, Volume 5? No one here would know what it is without looking it up. So what value does it hold? But yet people will pay through the nose, especially for those variants, and spend $300, $400, $500 on it at the time, and now you're lucky if you could sell it for $50. That's the kind of stuff I don't sell. So yes, some of these are pricey, but you got to spend money to make money. And I try and give people the best opportunity by selling it cheaper than what the lowest price was sold. Don't charge sales tax. Guaranteed to get them delivered. Guaranteed to be wrapped and protected. And those matter. Because how many people bought on eBay and got the damaged comic because they didn't properly package it, or they didn't send it out at all and just tried to take your money. So there's a lot of factors. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. For some strange reason, 23 people are still here listening to me. I always find that amazing that people listen to me rant, but I appreciate you for being here, regardless of your motives of why. 32 people were kind enough to hit the like button. I appreciate that. And there were plenty of people that were in the live chat just to give well wishes and maybe give updates and corrections. I appreciate you. So you don't have to be a bidder to be appreciated. But I do want to give a special shout out to Trade Paper Dad and Jacob Morgan. Congratulations on your books. As soon as it's paid for, if you pay for them by tonight, for example, or if Trade Paper said he wanted to think about the Amazing Spider-Man 14, obviously take some time. But I will mail out the books within 24 business hours unless something happened to me once payment's made. So thank you again for watching. Thank you for hitting the like button. Again, if you're watching this and it's not live and you're still here, God bless you that you stick around. But contact me for any of the books that did not sell. And if you're interested in those, just look at the peacefulfeelings@yahoo.com and notify me, and we'll go from there. Payment plans will still be available, even though you're watching this not live. So don't forget that it's not you, it is not I, it is We Love Comics. And as you can see right here, there is my AI art that I put specifically for this video. Not that the greatest one. I tried 50 different ones. It just wouldn't work, so that's the best one I could find with the AI art. So I'd always love to hear your opinions, and I'll see you next video. Thanks for watching, and have a great rest of your weekend. I'll see you next video.